Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we'll be going through the Gold Coast versus Port Adelaide game in which Gold Coast came out on top at home yet again for the ninth time this year. I don't know why I continue to almost say that they're going to lose. I thought Port would be better with their midfield, but obviously that was not the case as Port ended up kicking 12 goals 10, so they weren't even that inaccurate, and Gold Coast 14 goals 12. Gold Coast just, it seemed like any time they were in their forward 50, they got a chance, and Port couldn't do the same. They were widely just going inside and doing nothing with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Port actually had more inside 50s. That wouldn't surprise me, but let's actually double check that. Teams and efficiency inside 50. 54 inside 50s to 60, and they had 5 less shots. So they had six less inside 50s for 5 less shots. Just shows the efficiency difference there. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So Noah Anderson, or 112, was the top scorer for Gold Coast, but he doesn't have many home games left. Only 2 home games, I think, left out of the last 6. So, and we know the stark difference that he has away from home, so I wouldn't be going there, to be honest with you. 26, 21, 28, 37. Will Powell, 98. I thought he was really good in the first half, and then came up late with when he kicked his goal here in the third quarter. I thought it was in one of these quarters, but no, he didn't do much outside of that in the third quarter. But he was absolutely huge during the game, intercepting quite a lot. But it was actually Collins who, it doesn't really show up much outside of the values of in Supercoach he goes off, but yeah, you can see here that in fantasy doesn't really do much, but he's huge on an interceptor. I don't know how many intercepts he necessarily had, but I'm pretty sure it was up there for the week. Let me actually just double check how many he had in the end. How many points did he score? Collins scored 73, so there is. Let's see how many intercept possessions he had. Intercept possessions, 9 intercept possessions, and 9 marks. I don't know how many intercept marks he necessarily had, but it would have been up there, I would expect, for best on the ground, as he was really impactful. Doesn't have intercept marks anywhere in these metrics here. It doesn't look like it's anyway. Can't see it there, but yeah, he was absolutely huge. Davies, 97, I'm pretty sure is he the one that's getting a suspension for the tackle, or the bump, I should say. Who knows with the AFL these days with their suspensions. You just sort of look at the rubric, and hope that it lines up, and we'll see how the lawyers work that out. Flanders, 95 here, 23, 28, 19, 25. Didn't really have a bad quarter, but just didn't really have an outstanding quarter, and ended up on a 95. So yeah, I've seen easily guys have games like this where they end up a 110, and it looks pretty much nothing different to this. Just didn't get the non-disposal points that we like to see from him, as he only had a goal. 2 free kick 4, which is 8, 12. He only had 21 non-disposal points, which is kind of low for what we usually see out of Flanders. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it too much. Moyle, 85, but I expect Wits to come back soon, so I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about this having a negative or a positive impact on teams that play Gold Coast. I don't know who they exactly play next, but yeah, I'm not too worried about that per se. Let me just double check. Who do Gold Coast have next? Let's just go to Wits. They have GWS next, and then GWS, Brisbane, West Coast, Essendon, Melbourne, Richmond. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't have any of those guys in my side, any of the ruckman there, but I don't think it will be too impactful, as I expect Wits to be back. But I'm not 100% sure with the injuries. I don't usually keep too much of track of them if they're not in my current side. Jeffrey, King, Holman, Collins, Ainsworth. Hewland was huge in the third quarter, but he is a lockdown player at the end of the day, and 69 for him, it doesn't really matter too much. He's not really fancy relevant. Raul has stunk up the place, simply put. 3 free kicks against, 9 tackles, 16 touches, just doesn't get enough of the ball. And I mean, I have him in Supercoach, but his Supercoach numbers have just fallen through the floor as well. Humphrey, Lukosius, King, Roses, Closey, Johnson, Andrew, Buderick, Ballard, Walter, and then Graham came on as a sub and did nothing basically in a quarter. Then we move over to Port, and Zach Butters was my my captain on both formats, and I believe he ended up with a 133-118 split, which was really good to see as well. And yeah, 21-55 in the second. I believe he had 14 touches in the second, alongside like 5 or 6 marks. Let me just double check that for you guys. In the second quarter, he had 14 disposals, 5 marks, so that was absolutely huge. Third quarter, 33, and then the last to 24 was a little bit annoying. He didn't go even more in the last. Would have liked to have seen him get, like, say, a 35 in the last or something like that to put on a big score, but only burning 18 points to the golden VC or C that people had. Not too worried about that, to be honest with you, as he covered both fronts for Supercoach and Fantasy for me. And yeah, just 21-55. I thought 21, I was just like, oh no, don't do me. But yeah, he did absolutely huge. And you'll see why I wasn't so happy when Dunkley. We'll get to that in the on Wednesday, when I saw something similar happen with Dunkley. And we actually got lucky that in the third and fourth quarter he calmed down. But I saw Dunkley was around 20 points as well, 21. It might have been at quarter time, and I went, oh, he's going to do what Butters did and just go off. And we saw something very similar happen to a certain extent. Houston, 122. I believe I had him in Supercoach for like a 116. Let me just double check that for you guys. Let me just clear that out. I believe it wasn't 100%. It wasn't a 1-to-1 ratio. Let me just double check. I think he had a couple fumbles at the end. Yeah, 114 for him. A couple of his disposals here at the end were shocking and caused him to drop down a little bit. But he was actually really just getting a lot of the pill. 34 touches, 9 marks was huge on the day. And yeah, happy about that score. Not too worried about him in fantasy, just because he has very, very good fantasy to Supercoach ratio. It's like a 1.2 or so, give or take, as he averages like 110 in Supercoach, but he averages like 90 in fantasy. So yeah, you can see that distinction there. Boak Alir Rosie with a 104. He was pretty good in the fourth quarter, and the second, but his first and third quarter were a little bit annoying. A 104, I think a 104 as well in a 105 in Supercoach. So for those that have him there, that's a pretty good job done there. But yeah, he just he butchers the ball quite a lot, I think. And 29 touches, 4 marks, 5 tackles was the prototypical ton score. And just waiting for that absolutely huge score that he's going to get. And yeah, I thought he had chances to be able to go big, but in the end, he just didn't do enough in that third quarter to go big in itself. If he'd had a 20-point quarter there, that's going to be a 120 game there. But anyway, Farrell, Drew, Bergman, Evans, Wines, Sweets. Wines is sort of getting a decent amount of the ball, but just not getting the fantasy points that we sort of expect from him. Sweet, Knuckle. Evans as well, another 80. He did get I think he was the one that that had the elbow on him. So it was a little bit worrying there, but 17, 9 and 2 was really impactful, and he's just making a lot of cash quickly here. So really happy to have him in the side. And it is a little bit annoying that I brought him in Supercoach, because it messed up my whole season, sort of. Well, it probably messed up my chance to go and get inside the top like 750, 800 in Supercoach, but he's doing his job in fantasy, making a lot of cash, and he should be one that closes in on 500k, to be honest with you. I think he's 431 with still a near enough negative break even. Let me just double check that for you guys. He is 431 with a -4 break even, and the real possibility of him going and potentially cracking, it says he's projected in the next 3 weeks to make another 106k. 106k would get him up to, and that's with 66s. That would get him up to roughly a 537, 535, 540k marker. And that can be huge upgrading, potentially just even using another rookie alongside him, even a 500k rookie or something, or 450k rookie alongside him to get up to the likes of another primo in that backline or something like that, getting a 23rd, 24th primo, etc., where you can really start banking emergency scores and stuff like that. So there is that case there. And then no one else here really matters. Horn Francis with a 49 just shows that he really is an impact player, and I really struggle to see him being fantasy relevant given his mid-only status. Zerk Thatcher, Burn Jones, just because look at this, he's averaging what for the year? He is averaging for the year like an 89 or something, or an 88, and you just see here 86, 112, 95, 66. Like, he does have really good scores of a 111, 112, 113, 112, but his floor is so low that he's not really fantasy relevant, I don't think. The Zerk Thatcher, Burn Jones, Finlayson, Lord Jones, and Marshall, I believe, like all injured. It was kind of crazy. Marshall, did he do his hammy off his own teammate? Lockie Jones, I think, was knocked out off his own teammate. It was chaos. I think there was also a concern for Bergman as well. Almost concussed off Lear just trying to tackle in mid-air or something. It was chaos at in the first half for Port, but I think they got away relatively unscathed from in the injury front. But we'll see in the coming days. I think injuries come out today, and we'll see on Tuesday. This is recorded on Tuesday. We'll see in a couple hours how the McInerney injury is. The Marshall, Jones, etc. I haven't actually looked for that. We'll see if that happened. What's going on there. And yeah, a lot of, I think there was like 4 or 5 concussions this week. So we'll see how that goes. Like Timmy Taranto concussed, Treloar injury, we'll also get that, etc. Just a lot of injuries on that front anyway. But that is the video there, trying not to go on a massive tangent, but that's the video, and I'll see you guys in the last recap of today. Bye guys.